I'm Shelton Wilder, and welcome to Wilder Possibilities Podcast, where each episode follows an entrepreneur's journey into the transformative power of that light bulb moment where everything clicks. I call that the click. Those pivotal points that redefine our futures, illuminate paths to success, and even change the world. Now let's get wilder. Hi friends, welcome to Wilder Possibilities Podcast. Today I have the amazing Caroline Gamble, and she is so very many things. She actually is my personal cranial sacral therapist. That's what I call her. She has a lot of things that she does, a lot of breath work. She's a healer, and we're going to talk to her today about all these amazing things that she does.
And there are no limits. You can ask me anything.
Okay, well, I don't ask too many questions here. We like to just chitter-chat a little bit, which I like, because you're also my friend, and I adore you. And we met in a kind of interesting way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shall I tell the story?
Yeah, you tell.
So I'm British American.
Yes.
First 3 decades of my life were in the UK, London, which I loved. But I always knew I wanted to travel the world. I always knew that just because I was born in a place, I didn't want to stay in that place. Where do I belong? Who am I truly at a soul level? And where does this soul that has come through in my body, where does this soul want to live? So I very much wanted to explore the world. So after 30 years in London, I moved to Singapore and had 8 years in Asia, which was so super fun.
Oh, I didn't know 8 years.
8 years in Asia.
Wow.
I moved there when Siva, my 10-year-old plus, was 5 months old.
Oh, wow.
And that was amazing. And then I had my 8-year-old roomie there, beautiful home birth amongst the tropical trees. And then I always knew there was going to be a US chapter. And for me, I love lifestyle. So where in the US do I want to be? One coast or the other coast?
Yeah.
And I like heat. My sister was in Connecticut, explored maybe Connecticut, New York, but just kept being called to LA. Yeah. And I'd ask people throughout my childhood, because there was always kind of okay, I'm British American living in London, want to live in America. I better start doing some research. So I'd ask people, where are the most beautiful places to live in America? Any American person I would meet, they'd be from all different places. I'd say, where do you live? And if you could live anywhere in America, where would you live? And everyone said, Santa Barbara.
Oh, yeah.
Santa Barbara, Santa Barbara, Santa Barbara. And then people also said, but Napa and Sonoma are amazing.
Oh, so always California.
Always California. Fewer people, and then people would say LA, but LA's got some issues with it, and so I was curious. So my ex-husband and I will come on to the ex-husband.
We're going to talk about that.
He shared the dream of being okay. Part of the reason we came together and really resonated with each other was this common belief of just because we are born into this doesn't mean this is who we are.
Oh, no, of course not.
And so let's find out who we are and where we want to be. And so he was like, British guy, born and raised in London. Yeah, let's do California. So we would do these road trips all the way through California. And we kept coming back to West Side LA.
Oh, yeah.
And here we are.
Yeah.
And so how did I meet you?
Yes, which is wild.
Which is wild. So 3.5 years ago, it was during COVID. Singapore, which is where we lived, great place to live for a short amount of time. Then it gets a little bit dull, but so beautiful in so many ways. But it had run its course. Singapore was feeling very small during COVID.
Yeah.
And we thought...
They shut it down.
They shut it down.
Yeah, they really...
And it's called, on the global maps, the nickname for Singapore is the little red dot, because you can't even see the country that is Singapore. It is that small. It's a little red dot on the global map.
Yeah. Oh.
It's similar size to LA, so you can drive around it in a few hours.
Wow.
And in COVID, it felt very claustrophobic.
Yeah.
And so we made the wild decision of, okay, let's move during COVID.
Yeah.
And so I landed in LA, and Dominic, my ex-husband, said to me, you got to buy a house in 30 days. Here's the budget.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go into the reasons why I had that stipulation, but I had a list of 10 houses to see. You know how it is. Mm-hmm. The day before, half the houses are now in escrow. We can't see them. I'm looking around the houses, and my agent and he said, it's going to be Allenford. Oh, I've just given you my address.
Oh, well.
Don't come find me.
Yeah, we can't. No,
crazy people.
No locating.
He said, it's going to be this address. It's going to be this address. And sure enough, we walked into this beautiful house, and you were
I think you just came by yourself.
You represent. I was with the agent.
Oh, the first time?
Yeah,
Maybe then the second time.
The second time, this agent was too busy. He was hanging out in the car scrolling Instagram.
Yeah, you came.
I
just
came.
Us together.
It was just us.
And I was like, oh my gosh, who's this angel?
Mm.
With this perfect posture.
Oh, do
just
tell.
Like walking around. I was like, I think she's just floating around the house. I called my client after, and I was like, I think this is her. She's so cool.
Well, I love hearing that. Of course I do.
It was, yeah.
So then I bought the house.
Yes.
And moved into the house, and a little bit strangely, the lady who was selling became a client of mine.
Yes, yeah.
So she would come back into her old house.
Yes.
And have this deep, spiritual therapeutic work. Mm-hmm. And that obviously ran its course.
But then I think it got maybe hard.
Yeah, there were memories. It was a bit of a strange setup. But she recommended
that I go to you.
That you go to me, and you've been my client now every week for 3 years.
3 years. It's been amazing.
Yeah. And it's been wonderful.
Yes.
And we started off.
A lot of growth.
Yeah.
I couldn't breathe when I started. I was like this. Yeah. We worked a lot on breathing. And
what I wanted to do with you, Shelton, was you have all this incredible energy. I've told you this before.
Yeah,
this
it's a lot.
Fabulous fizzing energy, which we don't want to get rid of, because it makes you who you are, and you achieve great things because of it. But sometimes that fizzing energy makes your mind chatter too much. Yeah. And it's relentless. Mm-hmm. And so how to give you the tool that you had more range.
Yeah.
You used to just be in the fizz area, and now you're in the, fizz most of the day, but I also need calm. Now I can go into calm.
Yeah. And now I'm taking coffee down a notch too. It's going to be like,
Good. We've been
from 12 cups to 2 cups. Woo!
To then down to my chicory coffee, which is no caffeine and almost tastes the same.
Okay.
We'll talk about this.
Okay, I'll have to try.
It's delicious.
So we'll try that. So that was how it was fun. And now we, because do all these fun events together. And hang together. You met, when you came into the fold with all the friends and brought your friend. It's been amazing. So
it's been wonderful.
I mean, I love you. Fit right in LA. You've done so well. And so I think what we want to do is we always like to talk about when you got the click.
Oh, yeah. The click.
Of like the click of the light bulb moment of like, okay, this is what I want to do. Because this wellness space that you're in. Yeah. Since you were a little girl.
Oh, gosh. I mean, there have been many clicks.
Yeah. Okay. You can have multiple clicks.
There have been many clicks.
Tell us.
Okay. So one of the first clicks for me, oh, gosh, so many clicks. Okay. So a pivotal click was I went from university to working in advertising.
Okay.
Because my father said to me, I said, I don't know what to do, Dad. What should I do? And he said, well, you're creative and you're business minded, so go into advertising.
Oh, yeah.
And like an automaton, I marched into advertising. And then, I was there for 5 years. I did well. I got promoted. I worked on running pitches and was on great pieces of business. But there was a click moment of, this is not what I want to do. This is not my soul's purpose. Yeah. And I remember I had seen an Oprah Winfrey show.
Oh, what? Yeah.
Loved that Oprah. And she had all these amazing women, including one woman, I remember her. She had started off with nothing. And she was trying to think, what does she love doing? She loved flowers. So she worked at a florist.
Yeah.
And she made these beautiful arrangements, getting paid, peanuts. But she made these beautiful arrangements and she loved what she did. And a woman came in and more people came in. But one woman in particular came in and just adored her creativity, that she became one of her principal clients. Roll it forward, that woman then employed this florist.
Yes.
To do flower arrangements for the Four Seasons hotels.
Oh.
And she's now the global creative director of floristry for the Four Seasons Hotel Group.
Because she just followed her passion.
She followed what she loved to do.
Yes.
So I saw that Oprah Winfrey show, and the message of that was, ladies, Oprah is so empowering.
Yeah.
Ladies, understand what you love doing and then find a way of being paid to do it.
Yes, yes.
So I was working in advertising in London and I thought, enough of this. I don't love doing this.
Yeah, yeah.
So I had saved up enough money to self-fund myself for a year. And I said, I am going to just hang out for a year doing all the things I love to do. And then I'm going to think about how to make a career in one of those things. And so what did I love doing? I took a 3-hour walk every day, listening to neuroscience and psychology podcasts. I was doing Harvard MD courses as I was walking, just things that I love to do. I was reading books on psychology and philosophy and Buddhism.
Wow.
I was cooking meals from scratch, going to farmers markets. I was doing 2 hours of yoga every day. I was having deep and meaningful conversations with my friends, my family, people I was teaching yoga to, random people on the street. And I thought, okay, so after a year, there are some real common themes about how I choose to spend my day. I love good food and I love eating nutritiously and deliciously. Okay, maybe I'll do something in that. I love speaking to people. I'm a good listener.
Yes.
I love going deep with people. Okay, maybe I'll do something around that. I love yoga. I love teaching. I love studying. I love practicing. Maybe something around that. I love psychology. Maybe something around that. And I thought, I'm going to combine them all.
Yeah,
I'm going to start studying one after the other. So I studied nutrition. I studied psychology. I studied neuroscience and philosophy and Buddhism and all different spiritual lineages. I studied yoga. I became a yoga teacher, and then I did advanced training to become a yoga therapist, which is a big, big deal. But you really go into classic yoga. And then what was the other one? Well, those are the things that I combined. And I thought, okay, that's what I want to do. That was my click. This is my purpose in life, to live life joyfully. I'm going to trust that I'll earn money from this. And this is how I want to spend my days.
Well, because your first job, when you were like 11 or something.
Yeah.
What were you doing?
Was working in a health food shop.
Yeah,
that job.
You were just like, could you imagine? I mean, my 10-year-old son, I'd love to go to the health. No. But like, when you ever tell me that, I'm always like, oh my God.
In a little town outside of London called Sevenoaks, I worked at a health food shop called Especially Health, and I was so into it.
Yeah, I mean, like a little child
I would
doing things that, I mean, that's hilarious.
The top floor was all supplements. And
you're like hanging out with supplements.
I was.
Like little girl.
And the bottom floor was all health foods. And I remember I would take, I would take these different natural ingredients and make my own cosmetics. So it's really been through the line for me.
No, that's what, when you said, I'm always like, oh my gosh, this is not, I'm maybe going to do,
No.
This has been a theme.
This has been a theme. And it started, so that was a pivotal click.
Yeah.
But another key click for me was when I was about 5, I was playing outside in the garden, and there was this ditch with a little kind of stream. I mean, it wasn't really a stream. There was some water in this ditch. Yeah. And I'd go out there. First of all, my family of origin, amazing people. 3 of my best friends, my father, my mother, and my sister. Yeah. Amazing people, love them deeply. No childhood trauma, capital T childhood trauma. But my childhood trauma was the fact that I longed for spiritual connection with my family of origin. And and they weren't really wanting to have spiritual connection. And so my click as a 5-year-old, 5, 6, I remember just this kind of startling moment of going, I'm more awake in this area than they are. They're kind of asleep in this area. And the area I'm talking about, I didn't have the word for it, but it's consciousness. I'm awake, they're asleep, so I'm never going to be fulfilled with what I want from my original tribe.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to go out and find people who are as awake as I am or more awake, who can be my tribe.
Oh, yeah.
And
you knew.
I knew that at 5 or 6 years old.
Those are huge pivotal times.
And so my childhood trauma was then kind of realizing, God, this family that I love so much are not going to fulfill that for me. And so there were many years of trying to make sense of that, and it was painful. But
you had to find your people at the
I had to
health
find
food store.
my people at the health food store and the ashrams,
Literally,
and the crystal shops, and just random people the world over.
yes.
Random people that I'd meet, and I would recognize in them.
Oh, you're like you have the consciousness.
Walking down the street, I would recognize in them, you are as awake or more awake than I am. Let's engage. And because they were so awake, it was like this energy pulled us together, and they were straight away wanting to engage as well.
Yeah.
And so throughout my life, I've had deep, meaningful encounters.
Yes.
With very awake, conscious people in the most random places.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Oh my gosh. Okay, so then you were in London, and then you met.
I knew you wanted to talk about this.
I do. I think this is important.
Yeah.
Topic.
Yes. So we were talking about this before we started filming. Yes, I met my husband, now my ex-husband, Dominic, when we were in our mid-20s. And as we were saying, it should be illegal to get married in your 20s.
Should be illegal to get married in your 20s. Once you hit 30, you just know. I mean, I don't know. My 20s. Who the heck was I? I didn't know anything.
Indeed.
Well, I was
me
in a
too.
blackout, so, I mean, 20s. But, I mean, you just kind of were figuring yourself out.
Absolutely. Yeah. I was working in advertising, so I didn't have the confidence to really live my authentic life at that time. I was working in advertising. I was, overeating sugar because I was thinking, oh my God, is this what life, this doesn't feel right. But
I can't even imagine you with the job like that. That's, I mean, obviously I know you would be good at whatever you want to do, but
I was okay. I mean,
I'm sure. You're creative. I mean, you could do a great job, but
But I just had a knowingness that I wasn't doing as well as I should be doing because it wasn't aligned.
Yeah.
But I met this amazing man, Dominic.
Yes.
And he and I just were like glue to begin with.
Yeah.
We just thick and fast straight away. There was just this sense of we're meant to be together.
Yeah.
We are meant to be together. And so in your mid-20s, with a lack of wisdom, that feeling of we're meant to be together, and societally and culturally, if you have that feeling we're meant to be together, you think, okay, we're meant to be together as husband and wife. So we got married, and, I knew, and he knew. But we got married and we loved each other deeply, and we were very compatible in many different ways, and we saw the world in many similar ways. We had same values.
So tall, you look beautiful together.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, it was kind of like a mat, but you thought in your past, like, what did you think he was?
But now I know at the age of 42 that the reason that the marriage did not work, the reason that us coming together and becoming husband and wife didn't work is that he was my younger brother in a past life.
Yeah.
I'm not that woo-woo, But I did read a book, Many Lives, Many Masters. Everybody should read this book.
Okay.
It is incredible.
Love it. Write it down.
It's about a psychiatrist who's very left brain dominant, which means, you know, he's not woo-woo at all. He's all about the science and the data. And he had a client who came in, and she would go into these trance states and talk about these past lives. Oh. He became fascinated by this. He wrote this book, Many Lives, Many Masters. And as I'm reading this, I'm going through a divorce, very peaceful, beautiful, conscious divorce. And we can talk about that. But I'm thinking, okay, so maybe Dominic was something in my past life, which is why when we came together, it felt so familiar. And why even as we're divorcing, we want to be together for the rest of our lives. Yeah. So what is he to me? Oh my God, he was my younger brother. Which is why we always had a slightly yucky sex life. Which is why I kind of bossed him around a lot.
Because you're the big sister.
Because I was the big bossy sister.
Oh my God.
But which is also why we feel so naturally believe, both of us independently and together, that we are together for life.
Yeah. Because that's so interesting. That's a new look.
Yeah.
I think.
And so we've rebranded ourselves. So we went through. Okay,
we have to say that they have rebranded themselves as a couple. Yeah. Like, I love that. Yeah. First time I've ever heard that.
Yeah, I know. We've rebranded. Yeah. We are
trendsetter.
Husband and wife. It doesn't suit us. Yeah. It causes us stress. Okay.
Peace or stress?
Yeah. It's either peace or stress. Yeah. When you, gorgeous Dominic, are living in my house, because it's now my house. Yes. You signed the paperwork. Oh. When you are in my house and you're in my house as my husband, I'm stressed out. Oh. You're stressing me out. When you're in my house as my life partner, I'm relaxed because I'm not needing from you what I want or need from a husband role. And so what does that mean? Okay, so we're not physically intimate with each other anymore. Yeah. Great, because he's my younger brother from a past life. Yep. Who wants that?
No thanks.
But we still cohabit. So when he's got his business in Asia, which is why we went to Asia in the first place. He's half the time in LA, half the time in Singapore. And so when he comes to LA, we're in the same house. The family unit, us and the two kids, are still very close. Yeah. Dom and I still go off on long hikes together, love each other deeply. We still, have lunch together. Yeah, great friends. Rebranded as life partners.
Okay. You heard it here.
And it's great.
You heard it here on Wilder Possibilities.
Rebrand, people.
Rebrand yourself.
If your marriage is causing you stress, take a moment and say, is this person in my life to be my husband? Or maybe this person is in my life to be something else.
Yeah. Well, you guys have done really well.
We have.
Very impressed.
We have.
Because it can get very messy.
Yeah.
I mean, my parents growing up, it was
I
mess.
know.
Yeah,
it's the majority, but I want to tell the story because there is a different way. And yes, you need both people in that situation to want it and be committed to it. And we both are. So
you're very committed. And your kids are just angels. Love.
They are. They're and wonderful. So far they've transitioned well. And I remember when Dominic and I were talking to them about, when we were talking to them last year about getting divorced, they both freaked out. And Dom, who was just so brilliant around this, he said, well, what does divorce mean to you? And they said, divorce means to us unhappiness. People who are divorced, they're unhappy and they're fighting and they're sad. And we said, well, we are not that. We are not that. Divorce for us is just a piece of paper. And we're always going to be life partners. And you could see their little bodies just go, oh, okay. Yeah. But words are just one thing. Are you then going to show them in your actions and how you behave together that you are going to be peaceful life partners? And we have done that.
You've done it. That's what's so impressive because you know my story about when I was 6 and they said we're getting divorced. And I hugged my brother, same as yours, older daughter, younger brother. We thought divorce meant they were kicking us out of the house. And we were going to live on the street.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck that. I was like, fine. I got my brother and I got my rations. I'm going to take care of, it was just like, it's like, you have you're 6.
You went into survival.
Oh, it was survival.
Yeah.
And it was, and it had been, and then it stayed like that for a very long time. So
yeah,
you're helping me. You felt me. But it's just interesting how children perceive it and be able to consciously work through it.
Oh,
so impressive and a great example that people can hear. You can do it.
Well, I'm going to write a book about it, and it's going to be called Divorcing in Layers, because really it's been a very layered approach. 5 years ago, we started talking about, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Tell
that.
What am I telling?
About
What?
About the babies.
Oh, the IVF.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because this is kind of controversial.
This is controversial. So, part of the reason, with hindsight is an interesting thing.
Yeah.
So rewind 12 years ago. I've married my brother from a previous life.
Sorry. I almost spit out my teeth. Okay. In London. Okay.
In London.
Wow. Okay.
And, the universe tells you these things. The universe tells you these things. And the universe told me this we got married. I had been on the contraceptive pill because it was from an early age, because it was a cool thing to do. The message that I now have for young girls: don't go on the contraceptive pill for skin or because it's cool. Anyway, that's a separate issue. But I'd been on the contraceptive pill, came off the contraceptive pill, and I never got my period back. At that time, I married Dom.
Yeah.
And my body knew that this was not supposed to be, this was not my safe mate, right? And mate is for procreation.
Yeah.
So my body knew that this man who I love deeply, always will, was not my mate. And so it didn't release any eggs. And I didn't have a period. And I went to many doctors, and it wasn't a weight thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't a hormone thing. Everyone was kind of dumbfounded. I don't know. You've got loads of eggs, and your hormones seem fine, and your BMI is fine, and you don't overexercise. And I really looked at everything. I went to acupuncturists. I don't know. The allopathic doctors were dumbfounded, and I didn't menstruate. So we wanted to have kids. So I had IVF.
Yeah.
And the IVF was so peaceful. I'm sorry for people who have traumatic stories around IVF, and most of them are very stressful. Ours was so easy. In we go, get some shots, get an embryo, boom, I'm pregnant. So very peaceful, calm IVF. And we did kind of manifest that. We wanted it to be calm and peaceful, or at least I did. I manifested it in my body that this was going to be an easy win for me. And I had Siva, my daughter, and then I had, again, no period after giving birth. And so I had IVF again with Rumi. And it was, again, a very easy, peaceful, happy IVF. But then... And so then we have these young kids, and we're in Asia, and he's focused on his business, and I'm focused on raising the kids. And I'm aware, there's a disconnect. We're not fulfilling each other in the way we want to as husband and wife. And we started talking about it. And we started having conversations around, do we need to put more work in? And we tried to put more work in. And so, we really had these very frank, loving conversations, and we put in the effort. And we worked with outside people. And
you guys did. You did the work.
We did the work. And then we started, because we were very, loving with each other all the time. Well, maybe how would it look if we separated or had separate partners? Maybe that's what we need to do to fulfill ourselves. Maybe we need to have our separate partners.
That is, You guys are being open.
We're being really open,
yes.
and so we explored all of this stuff, but we didn't take any actions. And then a year and a half ago or so, we were in LA and we were going for a walk, and we were talking again about the status of our relationship. And we got to this point where we both agreed. We had this like euphoric moment where we said, we're going to separate. We're going to let go of this husband and wife stress.
Yeah.
We're going to rebrand. We're going to let that go.
Yeah.
And we hugged and we cried and we were, shaking with joy and relief and release. And I felt a twitch in my womb area, in my ovary on the left side. And a few weeks later, I got my first period in 10 to 12 years.
Yeah. Wow.
And I've had my period every month since then. And so my body knew.
Wow.
You've let go of that person that was not supposed to be your mate. You've rebranded them your life partner. That is what you were always meant to be. And now your body can let go.
Yeah.
So I gotta watch out, because I also, when I was in India, I had my palm read, and this
you could have another baby.
old wise man said you're gonna have 3 children.
Oh, I could see it.
Well, fortunately, the man I'm with has had the snip, or maybe unfortunately, I don't know. Anyway, I don't want another.
I know.
I don't want another child. But my point is, the body keeps the score, as it says.
Oh, that is fascinating.
Yeah.
But you guys have, been able to do it, and so gracefully.
I feel very grateful.
Yeah.
And truly, I'm now living the life of my dreams.
Yeah.
Because I have this incredible man,
Yes.
Dominic, who is my life partner. And then I have this other incredible man who is my romantic partner. So
Yes.
it all works out.
Yes. He seems amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is.
You're like glowing about it.
Ooh, I am.
Yeah. I know. Well, you can have it all.
I can.
think.
I feel that way. I feel that way. If you get out of your own way, and if you get out of your own fear.
Yeah.
And that's what I do with my clients.
Yes, you definitely do. And when we were at your birthday dinner, it was so interesting when some of the girls are going around the room talking about how they're so good with boundaries.
Yeah. What did you find interesting about
No,
that?
just that I guess I don't really know that side, because we have our like sessions but how do you, I just thought that was something interesting to talk about. Where did you get good boundaries like that?
Well, do you have good boundaries?
Oh no, mine are the worst. Mine are out the window.
Can you give me an example?
I'm boundaryless.
Really?
I get an F minus.
Huh. Give me an example of an area you'd like to have more boundaries in, where you feel like you don't hold your boundaries.
But I think mine is that, there are some like real estate agents, for example, that are like, it's 9 to 6. If you call me at 6:01, I'll call you the next day. And if it's a Saturday, nope, I'll call you on Sunday. I'm like, wow, so I don't like that. That wouldn't work for me. I'd be like, put it in me. Let me just talk now. Like, I like to be connected. I'm very connected.
Yeah.
So I don't need like a lot of boundaries, like hours and different things like that. So maybe my boundary is that I like to connect.
Well, I think a boundary is important in the area that you feel like you need a boundary. So those realtors, maybe they need to switch off at 6.
Oh my God, I think it's great.
You don't. So that might not be an area you want to create a boundary in. But in another area you or one might want to create a boundary in is, I don't know, for example, a friend who comes over, they're always coming over to your house, and they're calling you up at times, and they just talk on the phone.
Yeah.
One of the things, a principle that I use with all my clients, so this is a little bit of a segue, but it's relevant. So yoga, classical yoga is an 8-step path. And the third step is yoga asana, the stretches that you do in the modern yoga studios. That is the third step of an 8-step path.
Yeah.
And so after that comes breath work. Number 4 is pranayama. Number 5 is withdrawing the senses, something called pratyahara. Number 6 is concentration. And then number 7 is meditation. And number 8 is samadhi, which is blissfulness, where you feel like you have connected with this higher consciousness and you are in a state of complete bliss.
Yeah.
So those are 3 to 8. The first 1 and 2 are these precepts, these values with which you live a peaceful life with yourself and with community. And one of the precepts is called asteya, a Sanskrit word which means non-stealing. I'm bringing it to boundaries. Non-stealing is, of course, you don't go into a shop and steal something, or you don't take money from your friend's handbag when they're not looking. But stealing is more nuanced than that. What about the friends who call you up and they just, they don't say, hey, do you have 5 minutes? I just need to rant. And if someone says that to you, you can say, I do have 5 minutes, and yeah, I can hold you having a rant. But some people just aren't aware of that, and they steal your time and they steal your energy. And we all know people like that. And so, yes, I have really clear boundaries. If someone starts doing that with me and I can't hold that space for them, I don't want my energy to be disturbed in that way at that time, I will say, we need to take a pause on this. I don't have the time and I can't hear you in that capacity right now. And
I think that is like amazing, but could shock people.
Well, at my birthday dinner, some of the girlfriends were like, I'm so respectful of your boundaries. It's so inspiring. But to begin with, it was shocking for me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And so, yes, I've always had natural boundaries.
Yeah. You just have that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do.
With your self-esteem. You learned that at the nature store.
I learned that
as
I was making the homemade peanut butter at Especially Health on Seven Oaks High Street.
I'll never. I just love that so much. Oh my gosh. Okay. So kids are good. You're in a new relationship.
Yeah.
And you're seeing different patients.
Patients.
What do we call them? People.
I help people. So I am a therapist. I'm not a psychotherapist. I'm not a trained psychotherapist, but I do hold a space for people to come in and shift. That's what I'm trying to do. That is what I do with people. I help them shift. I have shifted myself thousands of times over my lifetime. People come into my space because they want to change. They want to change something.
Yeah.
And so
I wanted to be more calm.
Yeah. Well, you wanted to have more range. You didn't want to be calm all the time.
No.
But you knew that your range was just in this stress zone.
Yeah. And I couldn't breathe really well. Yeah. And then classic therapy for me, where you go and sit and talk. I tried that, or that wasn't really for me. So I like it when we talk for 30 minutes and we do the cranial to do the reset. Like actual physical touch is very helpful.
Well, what I found when I started studying psychotherapy and having psychotherapy myself, I was fascinated about the data around what happens when you go to a classic therapy session, 60 minutes of talking about yourself. Even if you're talking about really positive insights, your vital signs go into stress response. We just know this. You increase your heart rate, your blood pressure, your breath rate. So your body goes into, on a nervous system level, stress response. And then you leave the session and
fly out of there. And
you fly out of there like, oh, high vitals. And there is data to show that many people try to self-soothe, take themselves down from that by overeating sugar or drinking or taking some kind of something to bring them down a notch.
When Clark and I had the couples therapy, we were like, well, let's go to couples therapy so I can get in a fight. I mean, we were like, they're like,
yeah,
like
you pick a fight.
Kill each other. I mean,
because your nervous system is trying to find balance.
Whoa.
And I thought this is
not helpful.
This is a broken model. Why don't we have half the session in talk dialogue and half the session after we've been talking, vital signs go up. Then I take you on this journey into deep relaxation so you can float out of the space. So I then, this is 20 years ago, studied anything I could do to create that kind of method. Yeah. So we now have 30 minutes of talk therapy. We're looking for insights for the client about how they want to change, what is holding them back. Yeah. And then the second half, you're lying on a table. I do cranial reset. Yes. So just subtle pressure on your cranium. Yeah. And tell me about what you feel when you're in cranial reset, when I'm holding your skull.
You almost fall asleep.
Yeah.
And then you put the music on and that I really like. And then I just, you really can go to deep relaxation. It's hard for me to relax.
Yes.
That there's no drinking, there's no gummies, there's no, so to relax is.
And so something that I always notice about you, when you're lying there, you are fidgeting with your fingers.
The fingers.
The fingers.
You'll see it. I just do it. It's just
fidgeting with the fingers. But what I do is I hold your head, and the cranium, so the skull is like the planes of the earth.
Oh, I can feel. It's like
you can
a lot. Yeah, it's like a plane.
Yes. And so you apply little pressure to these pulse points, and it sends a message through your whole nervous system, the vagus nerve.
And so I go.
And then your hands start to slowly, then they start to open. And then you can see your body start to twitch, getting rid of any residual nervous energy around your bones. And all the while, we've got binaural beats playing in the background. So these music tones that are just, again, resetting the hemispheres of your brain. And I'm taking you on these guided journeys, sometimes yoga nidra, which is non-sleep deep rest. So I'm taking you on these journeys through your bones and through your tissues and through the different parts of your body. I'm using hypnotherapy. I'm using visualization. We're going into deep meditative journeys. Yeah. And by the end of that half hour, you're not asleep, because I don't actually want you to drop into sleep. I want you to rest in the zone between wakefulness and sleep. Yeah. So there's this zone, and we all feel it. Do you guys feel that when you're falling asleep? When you're falling asleep, you can feel yourself dropping into sleep. Before you get into sleep, there's this kind of twilight, almost a shivery little spot where you're still awake, but you're not fully awake. And it's this beautiful zone that I take you to.
That's where I am.
And I let you linger there.
Yeah.
And when you're lingering there, your nervous system just gets into deep calm. And then I always leave you at the end of the session, so I don't have to say, okay, bye, Shelton.
No, we're like...
I let you just float out without having to even see me, so that you can retain it.
Well, and then sometimes I get in the car and just get right back on my phone. And sometimes I try to relax and go to sleep, but it's very healing.
Oh, well, it's such a pleasure to be with you in that space.
I know. Well, I love you.
We've spoken about many a subject.
A lot of things. And it's been amazing. And then, it's so fun to get to be with you at like our event, Lady Shin.
Oh, I love it. Yeah. Before we go, because I can sense you're wrapping up. Yeah. Are you wrapping up?
I think we're wrapping up soon. Yeah.
I want to know, because I've been chatting away, and gosh, it's been really fun talking. I want to ask...
This is about you.
Well, it's about us.
Well, okay.
I want to ask you, what is something that you long for in your life?
That I long for?
That you long for.
I would long, and maybe you guys might not know this about me, but I think I would long a little bit more to not give so many fucks, not care so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that would give you peace.
Just more peace.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm getting better with the people pleasing, but it's just like, just kind of, but it's getting way better at 45. But that's what we're going to strive. By 50, 0 fucks given.
Yeah.
5 years. That's not even a long
You can do
I
it.
can do it. I think that, yeah, I would say that. Yeah,
Well,
'cause the rest is going so. I mean,
You long for that. You long for that and the freedom. That would give you freedom. That would give you freedom.
Because you talk about freedom a lot, but yeah. Oh, this is my last question because I don't ask many. I just love to chat. Is what does home mean to you?
Oh,
Yeah, because that's what we do.
what does home
You made your
mean
home
to
very-
me? Yeah, home for me is a place that I can come in. I can take all my clothes off.
You guys are a naked house?
We're naked.
Of course. Naked house. Yes.
I mean, at least the bra has got to come off.
Yes.
If I'm ever wearing a bra.
Yeah, no, I don't. Yeah.
Home for me is a place that I can, proverbially strip naked. So I can take my clothes off. I can be myself. I can tend to my needs. I can look after my self-care. Home for me is a self-care space. And so that means that there's beautiful things around me that bring me peace. Everywhere I look, there are things that bring me peace. The colors are peaceful, so I use a lot of muted colors and oranges. They bring me peace. There's green, there's lush.
Very earthy and grounding. So many plants.
So many plants around. Home for me is a place that my self-care, because the first 3 hours of my day are dedicated to self-care.
Yeah, your morning routine is amazing.
My morning routine is always evolving and growing, but it's a constant. So my home is a place where I can take beautiful sleep. My room is dark, it is quiet. I can do my self-care routines. I have beautiful food around me. Yeah, home is that space for me. And so I can be in another home and feel a sense of home if I can feel like my self-care is being nourished there.
Okay, so home equals self-care.
Home equals a space of self-care and sanctuary. Yeah. What does home mean for you?
What does home mean for me? Very similar. Buying our home was life-changing.
Yeah.
Especially for Clark.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, we got it to be exactly where we wanted it to be.
Yeah.
We love it.
That's beautiful. The creativity of that. Yeah.
But the creativity, but also he feels so safe. And then that it was more safe for our whole family.
Yeah. That's so interesting.
Yeah, safety. And I love that for home, our boys just want to be home. They're homebodies. I don't know if that's COVID or just that they just love being here.
What do they love doing here? Where's that?
They just chill. What are you doing about chilling, Mom?
Wow. Mom. Is that chilling with a book?
No.
Chilling with an iPad?
Yep, with some devices.
I think my kids would love home more if I let them have an iPad.
Or playing a game. I mean, or they love their underwear day.
Which is what?
No leaving the house. Just don't get out of your underwear. Just underwear day.
Oh.
Love that.
I love that.
Right. That's like their reset day. And they can do whatever they want. Not a lot of rules, but they're so good. So it's fun.
You have gorgeous
they're
boys.
amazing.
Oh.
So what do you say?
They're
so independent.
Let's just tell them the story about when you brought the boys over to the house.
Oh, yeah. You say.
Well, so we always have our weekly sessions. And very rarely does this happen.
No, never. Because they stay alone. Yeah.
They stay alone, which is amazing. You inspire me in that way. But one time, for whatever reason, Lane came over, and they hadn't met my kids, and our kids hung out. No devices. I said, no devices. And Lane kind of gave me the sideways glance in a very polite way. But they bonded. And then after the session, Siva said to me, can we have Lane over every week, Mummy?
That's so sweet. So we're blessed.
Yeah, we are blessed with amazing children. Long may that last.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's what's home.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, well, I can't wait for everybody to lift you up, see all the things that you're doing.
Please do.
Follow along, right?
Follow along. I'm not on social media or really anything, so I need to get savvy about that.
Yes, because people want to find you.
And I'm writing books, and
she's creating.
I'm creating, and I've got loads of amazing clients in LA, and still my clients from Singapore. That's when I am on a screen, when I see my clients from Singapore.
You're doing Zooms with them.
I am.
That's amazing.
But it's fun. Keeps me busy. Keeps me joyful. Keeps me aligned.
Yes.
In the flow. And all from my home. Yeah.
That's
a good wrap up.
Okay. Well, love you so much.
Love you. Thank you for having me.
Yes, it's amazing. I'm Shelton Wilder, and welcome to Wilder Possibilities Podcast, where each episode follows an entrepreneur's journey